Hand grenades have been used in warfare for centuries, but by World War II have been refined to extremely useful tools for the infantryman. And in this video we will look at the main fragmentation grenades used by the Allies and the Axis. To most people, the function of the hand grenade seems quite simple. We've all seen them in the movies. Before I start pulling pins, here is a quick word from our sponsor. At World of Warships, new content is released every month. Big Whiskey has made it to World of Warships. Command the power of the USS Wisconsin and enjoy fresh gameplay experiences in World of War's stunning 12v12 arenas. Enjoy top-notch graphics. More than 40 unique maps with dynamic weather have been updated with stunning new water effects and textures. There are multiple ship classes to choose from. Conquer the world's oceans aboard history's most iconic battleships, aircraft carriers, cruisers and destroyers. You can play as a lone wolf or in a division with your friends. Check out the invite code Wisconsin and receive 500 doubloons, 10 premium days, 2 million credits, a token USA 4 with the player choice of unlocking the Clemson, Phoenix, Wyoming and Langley after 15 battles and 2 American cruiser containers. Click the link in the description and use the code Wisconsin to claim your sign-up bonus today. Here is a modern British Army practice grenade, not dissimilar from World War II frags. The grenade consists of 4 main parts. The body, filled with explosive. The detonator, to set it off, missing in this practice version. The lever or spoon. And the pin. Operation is simple and quick. Pull out the pin, thus keeping your hand firmly clamped around the handle. Once you release the handle, such as throwing the grenade, the timer is triggered. And the grenade will detonate after between 4 and 7 seconds, depending on how you set the fuse. With a fragmentation grenade, you throw it and then take cover, as shrapnel from the grenade will be thrown out in a wide area. The main British Empire grenade of World War II was the No. 36 Mills bomb, which entered service in 1932 and was a development of the earlier World War I grenade. Its nickname was the Pineapple for obvious reasons. It has the familiar lever held in place by a pin. The grooving in the casing made it easier to grip. It was not necessarily for fragmentation, and indeed the case doesn't shatter along the grooves, as many tests have shown. It is a defensive grenade designed to be thrown from behind cover at a target in the open, wounding the enemy with fragmentation. An offensive grenade works quite differently. It does not fragment. Instead, it relies on short-range blast effect to wound or stun the victim without endangering the thrower with fragments. However, defensive grenades are frequently used offensively as well. The No. 36 could be lobbed some 50 feet or 15 meters fairly comfortably and accurately, and its lethal fragments had further range, the danger area being around 100 yards or just over 90 meters. The No. 36 was filled with baratol, a mixture of TNT and barium nitrate. During the Battle of France, the No. 36 was fitted with a 7-second fuse, but this was found to be too long. German soldiers frequently picked them up and threw them back, or avoided the blast. The fuse was thereafter reduced to only 4 seconds, though rifle grenades retained the 7-second fuse to reach the maximum range when fired. The No. 36 grenade had a very long life. It was the standard British Army grenade from 1932 to 1972. India finally retired the No. 36 in 2021. The British developed a grenade discharger for the Lee-Enfield family of rifles. The British had earlier developed the Mills bomb with a rod for launch from a rifle, but the stresses put on the barrel were considered too much, and it was updated to the No. 36 grenade fitted with a gas-check disc for use in this cup launcher, fired using a high-charge blank cartridge. The pin on the grenade was extracted in the usual way, and holding the lever down, the grenade was pushed into the cup, forming a seal, and then fired with the butt of the rifle on the ground and held away from the body at about a 45-degree angle. The standard Japanese hand grenade was the Type 97, a fragmentation weapon introduced in 1936. Unlike the British No. 36 grenade, activated by pulling out the pin while holding the lever tight and then flinging it, the release lever springing off to activate the fuse, the Japanese soldier had to pull out the pin and then strike the top of the cap of the grenade against a hard surface, normally his steel helmet, as it was a percussion-activated delay weapon, then throw the grenade. The Type 97 was also not as powerful as the Mills bomb or the comparable World War II US pineapple grenade. The Japanese issued the rifle grenade discharger for the specially designed grenade discharger that resembled a small mortar, the Type 89. Allied troops nicknamed this weapon the knee mortar, but if you tried to fire it from the knee, you would injure yourself very badly, including breaking the femur due to the heavy recoil of the weapon. The Type 89 grenade discharger entered service in 1929 and could fire either the grenade or the Type 89 50mm shell, a much more fearsome weapon and more comparable with a mortar bomb. The knee mortar also fired the Type 91 fragmentation grenade introduced in 1932. The Type 91 hand grenade was fitted with a propellant base and a time fuse. It would ignite its fuse during flight and detonate 7 to 8 seconds after launch.
The grenade discharger Type 89 is widely issued in the Japanese Army. The enemy has developed a variety of uses for this weapon. This is the Type 89 shell. It's inserted into the muzzle end of the barrel, fuse end up. To decrease the range control head is turned clockwise. To increase, turn counterclockwise. The discharger is fired by holding the weapon in the left hand and pulling downward on the trigger with the right.
A small spirit level on the side of the barrel aided the gunner on the correct angle the weapon should be held at, and a red vertical line painted on the barrel was the sight. It was a clever design, as unlike a mortar bomb, which exploded on contact with a hard surface, the launched Type 91 grenade could be fired into jungle forest without the fear of premature detonation as it struck trees during its journey, only going off when the fuse completed its running time. My grandfather told me that when they were fighting the Japanese in Burma, he noticed that when they had contacts with Japanese troops in the jungle, Japanese were very quick to start mortaring the British. With hindsight, I think he was describing coming under attack from Type 89 grenade dischargers, as they could be operated by a single soldier or up to a 3-man crew, the latter able to launch 25 grenades a minute. The aforementioned 50mm shell could also be fired. Each Japanese infantry platoon was issued with 3 Type 89 knee mortars and could hit targets up to 200 yards away, or 180 meters. World War II era knee mortars were last used during the Vietnam War. The United States went for a grenade superficially similar to the Mills bomb, the Mark II grenade, nicknamed the pineapple due to the grooves on the body. This kind of patterning makes the grenade easier to hold, particularly in wet or muddy conditions, and we can all agree that holding something this dangerous properly is much preferable to dropping it in your position. The American term frag for fragmentation begins with this grenade, which entered US service in 1918. It works exactly the same as the British No. 36. Hold it firmly, depressing the handle, pull out the pin, and then lob it, the lever springing off, starting the fuse. Different fuse settings being available, usually with a 4 to 5 second delay. It was filled with 57 grams of flaked TNT and could be thrown about 100 feet or 30 meters, weighing 1 pound 5 ounces or 600 grams. It would remain in US service until 1969 and is still in use in some countries today, notably the Philippines. A version also existed for use with the M1 Garand rifle, An adapter could be fitted to the standard grenade and then fired using the M7 grenade launcher attached to the M1's muzzle, and the grenade launched by firing a blank rifle round from the M1, the grenade flying off, arming itself in flight as the handle flew off the grenade. In a departure from the pineapple-type fragmentation grenade is the German Stielhandgranate or stick grenade, known to Allied troops as the potato masher. Introduced in 1915, it used a completely different ignition system to Allied grenades, a friction ignition system. The model 1924 was the World War II version, having the same fuse and explosive as the World War I grenade, but with a slightly shorter head and without the built-in belt clip. The wooden handle was also made longer.
The potato masher is the grenade that you will find in general use among the Germans. The head consists of a thin iron casing filled with explosive. It is screwed on the wooden handle, through the center of which runs a double length of cord. One end of the cord is attached to a lead ball, which is part of the friction igniter system. At the other end is a porcelain ball, which is exposed by unscrewing the metal cap on the lower end of the handle. Delay fuses are set to 4 or 5 seconds. The friction igniter detonator system is charged by putting the detonator into the open end of the delay fuse. The head and handle are then screwed together. When the grenade is armed and you are ready to throw, this porcelain ball is pulled out as far as it will go.
The stick grenade could then be flung further and more effectively than the egg-shaped grenade, and it also wouldn't roll away from its target, unlike egg-shaped grenades. But it was bulkier compared to Allied grenades and fewer could be carried by individual soldiers. But due to its thin metal head, it relied more on blast effect than fragmentation and proved very effective for use in houses and covered positions, but was less effective out in the open compared to Allied frags. It was nonetheless widely copied, the Chinese in particular adapting the type for use against the Japanese. The main Italian fragmentation grenade was the Breda Model 35, which entered service in 1935. Painted red, it consisted of an aluminium body with 2 conical ends and was loaded with 63 grams or 2.2 ounces of TNT. It had a splinter radius of 10 meters or 30 feet. To use the grenade, the security clip is yanked. The safety cap falls off in flight, which was connected to the grenade head by a brass band wrapped twice around the head. As the brass band unraveled, it released the safety bar, exposing the detonator to the striker. A creep spring held the detonator from touching the striker until impact, the grenade going off when it struck a hard surface, such as the ground or a wall. It was nicknamed the Red Devil by British forces because they were very difficult to safely clear from battlefields, having a high volatility. The standard Soviet frag was the F1, or explosive type No. 1, that entered Red Army service in 1939. It was based on the French F1 grenade and contained a charge of 60 grams or 21 ounces of TNT. And because of its shape and yellow color, it was nicknamed the Limonka, or Little Lemon, by Soviet troops. The similarity to the US Mark II pineapple is obvious, as the US grenade was also based on the French F1. The standard fuse was 3.5 to 4 seconds, and the fuse arms with a distinctive pop. The effective fragmentation radius of the F1 type grenade was 100 feet or 30 meters. These grenades are still in widespread use today, in particular in Ukraine and in some third world conflicts. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share, and also visit my audiobook channel, War Stories with Mark Felton. You can also help to support both of my channels at PayPal and Patreon. Details in the description box below.